pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you.
Welcome, everybody, to Lincoln, Alabama, home of Talladega Superspeedway. I'm Mike Demoney up in the booth as always, and we are looking to get this race started. Last week we saw Richard Ode put on a winning performance, led 8 laps. Chris Blasi, current points leader, led 26, but wound up 5th. Andrew Teft and Chase Grier wound out the top 3. From there, we are set to continue this chase. There's only 3 races left right now. Talladega in the Gen 4 is where we're at as these guys are rolling through here. We do have the grid up at the moment. Del Propke Valaquet is going to be starting in the pole position. We can go down to the track here. Not quite in yet. There we go. Row 2 is going to be Colin McDonough and Brian LaPratte. Got Patrick Cork and Truth Hoke in row 3. Row number 4 is going to be Chris Blasi with Kirby Wainscott just to his outside. Andrew Teft and Troy Thomas are going to be in row number 5. Alex Teft and Nicholas Falsetta are going to round out the field of 12 drivers as we get rolling here. Like I said, this is chase race number 2. The drivers in the chase are going to appear on the timing and scoring once they get rolling. Are driving a little bit of different rides than they did last time. See what these Gen 4 cars can do here. Mistake made by iRacing, but the drivers here love them. as they get ready to roll. Del Pro Crop Balaquet. If I said that right, Scott. Thanks for putting it in the chat. So here we go. Field of 12 drivers headed down the Talladega backstretch here. One driver that's making his way back into the series is Troy Thomas, who is in the hurricane area and been without power for quite a while, so glad to see him back out on the track as well. These guys are set for 94 laps. They have 75% fuel in these cars tonight, so unlimited tires, because tires don't matter here at Talladega, as that pace car is going to get ready to make that left-hand turn and head down pit lane. One thing about Talladega, the start-finish line is not here in the tri-oval. You've got to go clear to the other end after pit exit, but we are in the Geico restart zone, and we are racing here in the Racers Elite Superspeedway Series. That inside line stayed together fairly well, but the outside line with Richard Ode out on that high side is all by himself. We'll see if that 11 of Chris Blasi, I believe, is going to be coming up to help him here. Oh, no. The 101 of Brian LaPratt. That inside line is working well together. .39 goes to the high side. That's going to be Colin McDonough. Almost 3 wide back behind him with Truth Hope, Chris Blasi, and Andrew Teft. Marquette staying down on that bottom side. Blasi slides down in front of him. Here comes Truth Hoke on the high side. 3 wide. McDonough stuck in the middle. That's a Pratt on the high side. Still staying up there. Tight bunch field here. 3 wide at the front. LaPratt, Blasi, and Hoke. Rocrop Valaquet is pushing Blasi out in front. They have hooked up, and they're staying pretty well together. See him kind of stick his nose out just a bit, get a little air to that nose, cool down that engine temp. And they are back rolling once again. 39 of Colin McDonough back in third, side by side. Cork and Hope. Another pulls out, goes to the high side once again. Going to try and side draft a little bit. See if Truth Hope can close in and give him a shove towards the front. On board with Truth Hope as they come towards the start-finish line here. Let's see just how close they're getting. Side by side they go. McDonough's going to go to the lead here on that high side as Truth Hoke gives him a shove right to the front. Nicholas Falsetta's in third. Brian LaPratt back third on the high side. Fastest man on the track that last time, though, was Troy Thomas in the 3 Chevy. Oh, and now it looks like Donis drops down to the front, but Blasi, Valaquette go up to the high side, going to try and keep a run up there, separate Truth Hoke from McDonough. And now the 68 of Patrick Cork is second on the bottom. Third as Blasi slides down there as well. Side by side they go for the lead. Valaquette and Blasi, Truth Hoke, McDonough, and Nicholas Falsetta up on the high side. Falsetta gets a little loose. Trying to keep that car underneath him. He's going to do that, but he's going to pancake the wall a couple times as he comes through. Field goes by, and Falsetta is going to try and slow it down here. 78 of Richard Ode looks like he has had a problem as he has lost the draft, and he is about half a lap down right now. Give another look here, see how close Truth Hoke is getting to the back of Prokop Valaquette. Get off of him coming through the corner. Blasi gets a run down on the bottom side. He's going to be able to take the lead here. That outside lane has more momentum as they come off of turn number 4 and head towards the tri-oval. Blasi's still trying to hang on, trying to slide up just a little bit, maybe get a little side draft there off of Truth Hoke to help pull him along. Truth Hoke up into second. Blasi losing a little bit of ground. See if McDonough can give him a shove to the front as well. Patrick Cork closing in. And you have Andrew Teff back there. That outside line just has more momentum. Now Brian LaPratt goes down to the bottom, see if he can get in front of Blasi. Looks like the 43 of Alex Teft. Didn't recognize Teft in that Taco Bell machine. Slides down behind Brian LaPratt. Chris Blasi goes to the middle. McDonough with Blasi as they are now 3 wide. Truth Hoke slides down in front of Blasi. Blasi's still there. Truth cannot slide down. He's got to stay in that high line as they were almost touching as they're coming through the tri-oval. And not to pucker up too fast here, but Richard Ode, the lap car, is just in front of them as they are 3 wide. Prokop Valaquette and McDonough are going to be side by side for the lead. Chris Blasi was trying to stick his nose in there as well. Troy Thomas up in the high line, off the wall just a little bit here. You can see now that the 78 is going to stay up in the high lane, try and stay out of everybody's way. He'll do just that. Looks like everybody's able to clear. He'll try and grab that draft and stay at least with the field. We know there's going to be a couple pit stops here tonight. McDonough, Blasi, Prokop Valaquette, and Truth Hoke. Chase drivers currently in third, 5th, and 7th are the top 3. But it looks like here from Blasi's point of view, trying to drive these Gen 4 machines as they're coming through the corner here, headed to the tri-oval. You just see how much sawing he has to do on that wheel. He's staying right on the back of McDonough as he is going through the start-finish line there. .49 flat for most of the field. Nicholas Falsetta lost the draft after he hit the wall a couple times, and side by side they go inches away from each other as Procop Valaquet was getting down onto McDonough there. Tight bunch field of the 11 drivers right now. Richard Ode is 4th on the high side. He lost a lap after losing a little bit of ground there and lost the draft, but was able to catch on when they came back around. These guys do have a second Superspeedway series that kicked off a couple weeks ago. They're trying to run that and finish this one off as they move over to Friday nights for the Superspeedway series, and get the Wayland Modifieds coming through on Saturday nights. That was very close as they were coming through turn exit. And Jake McDonough sliding up the track. And you also had Procop Valaquet sliding down to the bottom. McDonough lost a little bit of ground there as he went to the middle, and now he is fading back, slides up in front of Richard Ode on that high side. Ruth Hoke is pushing for all that he can push here tonight. Blasi's back towards the front. He's got Brian the Pratt pushing him there. Side drafting like crazy is Dale Procop Valaquet. He slides back up to the high side, and they are loose on that bottom lane. Looks like a bad push there from Brian the Pratt. Almost got Blasi a little bit out of shape. Now that middle lane of Colin McDonough is coming back through. Almost looks like he was thinking about making it 3 wide in the middle. Thought better of it. Slides up behind Troy Thomas. Richard Ode gets out of line a little bit. Going to go 3 wide on the high side. Almost 4 wide here. We've got Blasi, Troy Thomas, Brian the Pratt, Colin McDonough, and Richard Ode all trying to go basically for the same position. You see the 43 of Alex Teft back there as well. Like that inside line is all over the place as Blasi's trying to get up closer, side draft a little more, try and pull himself towards the front. Goes back down to the bottom here as they come through 3 and 4. Blasi does get the lead. Brian the Pratt still giving him a shove there. McDonough going back and forth between the bottom and the top. Like it got a little loose there. Let's see if we can take a look here. See what the AMS oil machine is doing here. Chris Blasi. He slides up, gets a little air on the nose, gives him a little bump there. Not very square, though, so I might cause an issue a little later in these runs. Jump over to Truth Hoke. And Truth Hoke is all over the back bumper there. As this Wrangler machine rolling tight and close here. See a little wiggle here and there. Now that outside line once again is pulling strong. Let's see how everybody moves back and forth, inside, outside, trying to find the line that's going to work for them. Everybody knows there's a long race ahead here. It is a super speedway track. Things are bound to happen. Kind of fan back out again. Like a little bit of trouble happens. Everybody kind of backs off just enough and then comes running once again as Chris Blasi and Brian LaPratt hooked back up. Colin McDonough on the bottom side as well as Patrick Cork. Everybody else up on that high lane. You can see that Chris Blasi tries to get a little bit closer coming through the corner, the side draft around to kind of keep that outside line back just a little bit. It doesn't look like Brian LaPratt wants to go up there and get that close to him as they kind of lose that draft. And this time Chris Blasi stays down on the bottom as they're working almost even with that outside lane. That outside lane does have a little bit more momentum as they're coming off of the corner. Here they come through the tri-oval. Outside line still going to have that momentum as both Valaquette and Hoke get by. With the little bit smaller field, it does kind of change your strategy just a little bit. It's a lot easier to get towards the front, so if you wanted to try and make that run and just stay up front, you probably could, or you could back off just a little bit, try and stay out of any trouble, not push it too much too early here, as we are working lap number 21 right now. One driver is a lap down, but Nicholas Falsetta is in danger of becoming the second car a lap down. We'll see if he's going to pull off, and he'll pull down to the bottom. Let these guys try and roll by and then tuck back up. He was a little late, so he's going to lose that draft as well. So he'll be running by himself here on the backstretch with nobody really around. Driver that really wants one of those cautions is going to be that 78 machine of Richard Ode, as he is first car a lap down. He's been able to run with these guys. Like, he had just a little mistake, cost him the draft, and then he's been battling back since then. Now the inside lane is starting to come back here. Ooh, LaPrat gets a little loose there. But Blasi's going to lead that lap, but right after the start-finish line, Procop Balaquet takes the lead right back with Truth Hope giving him a shove as well. He ducks down, tries to side draft a little bit after losing Truth coming through the corner. Now that inside lane is starting to be a little bit more dominant here, but as soon as I say that, outside lane turns it up, and Chris Blasi saw it, went to the high side, tried to block. Procop Balaquet was able to pull down and go to the middle lane. That leaves Chris Blasi 3 wide on the high side all by himself. He's going to lose a little bit of ground here as Truth Hoke is still trying to stay right on the bumper of that 9 machine. Troy Thomas as well. But Chris Blasi is going to have to blend in front of Andrew Teff there. Bottom line, Brian LaPrat and Richard Ode are the 2 cars there. You got Colin McDonough back there as well. And now you have Chris Blasi trying to drive his way back to the front of that bottom line after not being able to maintain the lead in the outside line, and he is going to be able to do just that. Brian LaPrat lets him slide down in front of him, and here they go, hooked back up once again, but that outside line has 3 cars that are driving pretty strong here. Procop Balaquet, Truth Hoke, Troy Thomas. Troy Thomas jumps down to the bottom side. He's going to lead them now. Try and get that number 3 Goodrich Chevy towards the front. Superspeedway racing is where you see that 3 up front a lot of the time. Same drivers on the top. Dale Procop Balaquet. Truth Hoke, Troy Thomas, and Chris Blasi on the bottom side. Andrew Teft tiptoeing into the top 5. He's sitting just outside of it right now. Troy Thomas to the lead. Ooh, touch the apron just a little bit. Looks like Thomas and Blasi both do that. Three wide back in the back. McDonough, Pratt, Kirby Wayne's got it there as well. Oh, that's what I thought it was. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for Kirby Wayne Scott. Now we got some pushers here as Troy Thomas and Chris Blasi are linked up. You could barely see anything between them for a little while here. Come off of turn 4, heading to the tri-oval. And the speeds have went up. They're under 49 seconds now. Fastest lap of the race was 48.35. Still side by side. Side drafting off of each other as they come through the corner, separating out once they hit the back straightaway once again. They'll tighten it up as they head into turn number 3. Troy Thomas still leading the race. Looks like almost a bad push there from Truth Hoke. He got it back under control. Chris Blasi, Troy Thomas are going to be 1-2 now. Ryan LaPratte shoving him down there as well. Now 9 and 55 are hooked back up. They've been pretty dominant in that outside lane. See if they can stay that way. We'll see how close this filter time gets to the 3. See just how close these guys run and how fast these Gen 4 cars are. They're hitting almost 200 miles an hour in what was effectively an ARCA car, but they just boosted that horsepower in. Nicholas Falsetta headed down pit lane. Truth Hope getting a push there from Andrew Teft, and he's going to get pushed 3 wide in the middle. Del Procrop Valaquet gets up into the high lane, slides back, files in behind Andrew Teft, so he's now going to be 3rd. Kirby Wainscott back there, Andrew Teft, and it looks like Troy Thomas almost just slowed down just a little bit as Chris Blasi elected to jump to the high lane, and now he is right back down in front of Troy Thomas. Troy Thomas is now in 2nd, pushing Chris Blasi, and everybody should be coming down pit lane now, and we will see what happens as, whoa, Ryan LaPratte. Wow. Okay. We're going to take a look at this because we can. So we're going to go on board here, just off the nose. Everybody's going to get ready to come down pit lane. And he just went right through. Looks like half the field pitted on that lap, and everybody else is going to pit now. Jump back to live. Everybody can get woed up here. Like everybody's doing good. So a little over half in the first group. So now everybody in that first group looks like they're pretty well spread out just looking through. So as they're doing that, we're going to go ahead and step aside. We'll go side by side. You won't miss anything. And we'll be back right after this. All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Racers Elite Superspeedway series from Talladega. Not much has changed. Everybody made their pit stop, and everybody is right back together here. Andrew Teft and Chris Blasi on the high side. Brian LaPratt is pushing the lap cart of Richard Ode on the bottom side. Now Blasi's going to go to the middle, make it 3 wide as they come to the start-finish line. Blasi going to try and jump down to the bottom. Not enough room there. Richard Ode goes down below the yellow line to not get wrecked, as Blasi was trying to make it fit where it wasn't going to. Nicholas Falsetta down there on the bottom, trying not to go 3 laps down here, as he's going to pull off, allow these drivers to go by. He's going to have to try and jump back in line and get that draft. He just does not have the speed, and he will lose that draft once again. He is down 3 laps now. Brian LaPratt on the bottom, Chris Blasi and Andrew Teft up on the top. Oh, bumping together is Blasi and LaPratt. Andrew Teft went down to the bottom side. Ruth Hoke back there as well. But he's bouncing around quite a bit here. As you can see, the snake line dance in and out. Ruth Hoke and Alex Teft are up on the high side, hooked together. Got 2 of the fast drivers that were up front. I think they might have had an issue with their pit stop, as they are losing time. It's going to be Troy Thomas and Dale Prokop-Valaquet. They're trying to get by Nicholas Falsetta. Pratt leading that outside lane with Truth Hoke. Truth Hoke has been one of the better pushers we've seen all night. Didn't really matter who was in front of him. He has got that bumper locked on to get out of line there. It looks like the Pratt decided to go down to where Blasi was, but Ruth Hoke is definitely a guy you'd want behind you if you were trying to win this race here, as he's been an all-star pusher tonight. Alex Teft inside the top 5. Andrew Teft as well. On board here with Andrew Teft. You just see how much action's going on all around him, even though there's a few cars. They're almost 4 wide up in front. Got Truth Hoke in the middle, Blasi on the high side, the Pratt on the bottom. Like Blasi's going to lose a little bit of time, lose a little bit of momentum there on that high line. Alex Teft trying to decide which line he wants to go in. He ducks in behind Truth Hoke, and they are still 3 wide. Andrew Teft now down at the bottom. Truth Hoke and Blasi up on the high side. Richard Ode jumps to the middle line, gets in front of Truth, and he is going to get a shove here momentarily on corner exit, and he should be able to clear the 101 as they're coming through the tri-oval here. Inside, outside. The outside line has a ton of momentum, but one thing that's been basically the same in every model is Truth Hoke pushing whoever's been there. But now we have Alex Teft getting shoved by Blasi. Looks like he was going to shove him to the front. got him about even with Truth Hoke, and then he jumped down behind Truth, and now they are going to be battling here as Truth Hoke is getting pushed now from Blase. Alex Teff slides in behind. So Hoke getting a shove now. He's usually not one of the drivers that really likes getting pushed. Seems like he's more comfortable being the pusher. Alex Teff goes 3 wide on the high side, going to carry some momentum. Almost 4 wide now. We are 4 wide. LaPratt, Blase, Truth Hoke, Alex Teff, all 4 wide, all stayed off of each other as they're coming down the backstretch now. 4 wide through 1 and 2, and they survived. Pratt leading the race, not leading this pack as Richard Ode is out in front. You know these drivers can get 32 to 33 laps on a fuel run. So looking at 66 or thereabouts to make that pit stop. It's all going to be a matter of who you can trust to come down with you. As Blase pulls down, almost cuts off Richard Ode once again. Looks like his spotter is not quite clear when that 11 gets by. Heads up driving there by the 78 Chevy of Richard Ode as he was able to pull down, let Blase find his spot, and then go back to pushing him. Blase jumps to the high side, gets in front of Truth Hoke. Alex Teff back there as well. Colin McDonough's on that high side. On the bottom side, you've got Brian LaPratt, Andrew Teft, and Kirby Wayne Scott. They're trying to find their way to where they want to be here. Truth Hoke pushing Blase to the front. But they're going to come up to another car trying not to go a lap down. That's going to be Patrick Cork here. Blase slides down in front of Ode once again. Jumps up to Truth Hoke. Blase's trying to be the Pied Piper on both lanes. Trying to lead them both as much as he can. As he's now going down just a little bit here. He does have a lap car to deal with, and he's going to go ahead and slide right on down in front of Richard Ode. Try and shrink up the track just a little bit here. Truth Hoke right back on his rear bumper as he was sliding down. On board with Truth, that they head down to that start-finish line, heading off into turn number 1. Looking back from Truth's onboard cam here. Andrew Teff looking to make it, I was going to say looking to make it 3 wide, but didn't quite have the run to get to the inside of Brian LaPratt. Dunham just on his outside. Working through lap number 50 here. Inside watch Truth Hope drive this machine. You'll notice on the instrument clutcher that the RPM gauge is basically turned almost upside down. It allows the drivers to see when they actually need to shift. Go back to the view here as they are getting tight once again. Blasey and Truth Hope, Richard Ode and Brian LaPratt. Hoke, LaPratt. Still side by side. Richard Ode has got to be wanting a caution as he is in front of the leaders. So even if he gets past, he's still going to be the first car a lap down. But he can race these guys. He's been up here all night. He's 3 wide in the middle now. Almost 4 wide as Truth Hope bounces off that outside wall. And here they come once again. But Ode is still stuck in the middle. Kirby Wayne's got down on the bottom. Blasey on the high side. He's still kind of hanging tough there. Not really going backwards as fast as you would think. If you didn't have any help, but that side drafting off the 98 there of Andrew Teft, and now he has caught a little bit of draft from Chris Blasey, as Blasey's going to slide down in front of him. He's going to leave Truth Hoke up on the high side all by himself, and then he will do Chris Blasey things and go up and play the other line as well. There is a race within a race now, as Patrick Cork and Richard Ode are both a lap down. So they're fighting for that lucky dog spot now. And they are about even with each other. Blasey stuck in the middle. Truth Hope trying to figure out where he wants to go as he has got absolutely no help in front of him. He's got Cork behind him trying to give him a shove. Blasey's still 3 wide in the middle. And now he will slide down behind Ode. And Ode will pull out. Blasey now is going to duck in behind Kirby Wayne Scott. Ode is side drafting for all that he can, trying to stay right even with Andrew Teft there. Because we got about 12 laps until we're going to see a pit stop. Probably going to be the money stop the way these guys have been racing out here tonight. Looks like Truth Hope might have found his wheels here as he is drafting up right behind Richard Ode. And he is going to be a great pusher. He doesn't care who's in front of him. He seems to be fastest from second place. So now he is hooked on and he is pushing for all he can. You can just see how close he gets that 55 machine to the back of the 78 as they're coming through the corner here. He will suck right up once again. And you see Richard Ode, they head off into the tri-oval, try and side draft the 101 of Brian LaPratt. And he is going to get back out in front and technically, for the moment, be on the lead lap. Ode slides down in front of the 101 of Brian LaPratt. Truth Hope leading that outside line, and that outside line is going to probably go backwards unless somebody else can jump up in front of Truth Hope. He is a heck of a pusher, but not so much of a pushy. Now Andrew Teff sniffing towards the front. Has been hovering anywhere between 5th and 10th place most of the race. Now he is running up into 2nd right now. And Truth Hoke is lost his pusher as well, as now he is even with Andrew Teft. If anybody elects to try and jump up there and help him, it'd have to be Blasey or Wayne Scott, but it looks like Truth Hoke's losing a little bit of ground as well here. Alex Teft went from the high side down to the bottom as they are almost single filed out now. Only 2 cars are up in that high lane. That's going to be Truth Hoke and Patrick Cork. There is another group on track. They're back here. We know pit stops are going to happen, so it'll be interesting to see when these guys elect to come down pit lane. Nicholas Falsetta, Dale Procrop Valaquet, and Troy Thomas. They're all on the lead lap, but they are 17, 18 seconds back at the moment. We'll see if they're going to come down pit lane maybe a lap sooner and try and get some track position and get back out on the racetrack and make up some time, but it's going to be a tough call here as Truth Hoke is still 3 wide, stuck in the middle. Patrick Cork on the high side, going to drop back behind Truth Hoke. The Pratt, Teft, and Wayne Scott are the top 3. Richard Ode is leading this line, but he is a lap down as Andrew Teft and Kirby Wayne Scott pull out, go to the high side, going to try and make a power move here and get to the front. This hasn't been able to do it. That 78 machine has been dynamite up front. Could be about 6 laps until you make those pit stops as Truth Hoke gets a little loose as he gets down on the bottom side. Colin McDonough in the middle. Andrew Teft, Kirby Wayne Scott have now lost a ton of ground here as Blasey is going to lead that outside line. Blasey making a run, and now Andrew Teft pulls out to the middle, going to send the 11 to the high side, but the 11 pulls down to block, and he is almost going to get wrecked as that was a late block, and Andrew Teft had the momentum, almost spins the 11 around after a little bump there. Blasey just wants to stay out in front, and he will do it at almost all costs. That could have been bad with everybody behind him there. Andrew Teft tries to run a little bit higher in that Menard Chevy. Kirby Wayne Scott staying up there with him as well. Colin McDonough to the outside. Blasey stuck in the middle now, 3 wide. Nicholas Falsetta is going to be probably our first driver that has to come to pit lane. He last pitted on lap 29, which is about 3 laps sooner than everybody else. So I imagine we're going to see him come down this time or the next. Brian LaPratt still leading the race. Andrew Teft leading that outside lane now as he was able to get by Chris Blasey. Kirby Wainscott tucked in on the bottom as well now. Goes or stays in the middle. Blasi goes to the high side. Blasi's going to try and go completely around Heft, and he will do just that. Colin McDonough is trying to figure out which line he wants to be in. He stays middle. Looks like Truth Hope was thinking about going middle, but saw the 39 machine pull up. Blasi stuck in the high lines, going backwards now. Like he'll have to fall in behind Patrick Cork. He'll do just that. Andrew Teft now leading the race. Working through lap 63. Going to lead that lap. See what Truth Hope can do is he is pulled up with Brian LaPratt. Inside lines hooked up pretty well together as they've been able to hold off that outside lane, especially since Truth Hope has moved down to that bottom lane. Seems to be the common denominator for the most part here. Andrew Teft and Colin McDonough on the high side. Kirby Wainscott was thinking about pulling up. Looked like he thought better of it at the moment. Basically just two cars on that high side. By Truth Hope, Chris Blasi, all going to be coming down this time by. As the drivers in the back have also pitted. Troy Thomas, Daliquette, and Falsetta all came down pit lane together. Patrick Cork up on the high side, 3 wide. So half the field comes down this time by. Other half will come down next time. Pratt, Teft, McDonough, Wainscott, Alex Teft, and Patrick Cork. Like there might have been an issue on pit road. We can take a look real quick, see what happened. Who's here? Oh. Everybody else coming down now. Ooh, LaPratt almost got in there a little hot. Be a race off of pit lane. Gonna be close. So LaPratt, Teft, and McDonough are all still out in front. At about a 16-second gap. Back to Blasi and Truth Hoke. After that incident of Truth on pit lane, that kind of slowed down their pit stops as they spent about 54 seconds on pit lane versus Andrew Teft only spent 40 seconds. So that is going to be the difference out here on track. And with that being said, as these guys roll through, we're going to step aside for our final commercial break here. We're getting close to that all-important finish to the Racers Elite Super Speedway Series. We'll be back right after this. All right, welcome back, everybody, to Talladega. Working lap 73 here of the scheduled 94. Not much has changed since we went away. Andrew Teft, Brian LaPratt, Colin McDonough, Herbie Wainscott, Alex Teft all hooked up. The biggest thing that happened was before we went away on pit lane, Chris Blasi, Truth Hoke, and Richard Ode all had an issue as Truth Hope checked up a little bit too much, probably downshifted one too many times as he was trying to get down to pit road speed. So they are about 17 seconds, almost 18 seconds back of this lead pack. So they're pretty much out of it unless we get a late race caution. Then they got a 16-second gap back to the 3 and the 9 of Troy Thomas and Dale Procrop Valaquette. But that is pretty much it here. Laps to go as they're rolling through. Several drivers lose a few laps there. Nicholas Falsetta, Patrick Court, 4 laps and 2 laps respectively. Richard Ode is still only car a lap down at the moment. These last 20 laps are going to be relatively tame, probably, I'm going to say, for the next 10 to 15. As right now, it's set up for basically 4 drivers who could win this at this very moment. Maybe 5 at the most, as Alex Teft is kind of just hanging back in the back. Him and Kirby Wainscott might be hatching a plan here to get up into that winner's circle. See what we can find back here. You guys are working pretty well together. They are cutting into that gap if they can stay together. As Ode just got a little bit loose there. Maybe got pushed just at the wrong time as they were headed through that tri-oval. There is the gap as it sits right now. They are closing in, but I don't know that it's going to be enough with... They'd have to be making almost a second a lap, and they are not doing that. So they're going to need a late race caution in order to be up here to contend for the win. This goes to show you what one little mistake can cost you here at Talladega. Of course, this is probably one of the better leagues that we have the opportunity to call when they're racing here at a super speedway. Because it's their super speedway league, so all these guys know how to run, know when and where to make the pushes. So Andrew Teft, Brian LaPratt, Colin McDonough, Kirby Wainscott, and Alex Teft are the top 5. Andrew Teft, biggest mover of the race right now, up 8 spots, 16 laps to go. Just see if we can jump on board here. To see how close those guys are getting and how tuned up those engines are. 15 laps to go. Half of the chase eligible drivers are here tonight inside that top 6. Single filed out. They're still losing time. Gap is now just over 16 seconds, but like I said, that's not going to matter. They're gaining about 0.2 of the lap. F. LaPratt, McDonough, Wayne Scott, Alex Teft. Nicholas Falsetta hanging on here. He's 4 laps down. But he's still hanging pretty close. As long as he can hang on to that draft, it'll at least give him a little bit of confidence for the end of the run. And it looks like we had an issue with Patrick Cork. Not sure what happened there, but you see the 9 of Del Pro Crop Valaquette back there as well. Let's see if we can see what happened here. With 12 laps to go, might as well take a look here. Oh, the 68 just got into the back of the 9. And that's going to do it for their hopes here, right? It is going to be down to these 5 drivers. Looks like Kirby Wainscott is going to try and hang on to this draft here. Nicholas Falsetta lost it about a quarter of where he needed to be here, as he is going backwards in a hurry as well. Andrew Teff, Brian LaPratt, Dylan McDonough, 1, 2, 3. Alex Teff, Kirby Wainscott. See if they're going to try and hook up here and make a run towards the front. Don't necessarily want to show your hand too early, especially here at Talladega. Kirby Wainscott down to the inside. They lined up a little bit better than that if they're going to want to make that run, unless they're just going to hang out here and hope for the moment. Coop Racing is doing pretty well tonight. Alex Teft, Andrew Teft, Kirby Wainscott. Teft up to 3rd. 9 laps to go here. What's the strategy going to be? Who's it going to be? Patrick Cork exiting pit road. Steph gives him a wide berth as they go by. Teft, the Pratt, Teft. Alex Teft goes out to the high side. Looks like he got a little bit loose on entry, going to slide up the track just a little bit. Paul McDonough's going to go up there with him. Kirby Wainscott, like he chose the high line as well, and Andrew Teft's going to go up there, and that's going to leave Brian LaPratt all by himself for a moment as Andrew Teft pulls back down to block the 101 machine, and Alex Teft gets left on the high side by himself. But with all that dancing, Nicholas Falsetta was able to close in as well here. Back to single file racing. Like Alex Teft might have been just testing the waters just a little bit to see when and where he could make that run. 7 to go here. Troy Thomas up there by himself. Bouncing around off the wall. McDonough in the middle. Andrew Teft on the bottom. Alex Teft on the high side. Looks like Andrew Teft got a little bit of a bad bump there from the 101 of Brian LaPratt. Alex Teft went to the high side again. I was going to slide back down towards the bottom here. Well, McDonough on the high side going to lead for a moment here. 6 laps to go. If Alex Teft is going to be able to push that 39 machine towards the front, or if he's going to try and pull out and make a lap here. They are coming up on the lap truck here. Like the lap car here, the 9. That's going to do a little more dancing here as they try and get by. I think they will do just that. Andrew Teft floats up to the high side, going to leave the bottom open for the 101. Kirby Wainscott sticks with Brian LaPratt. Andrew Teft in front of Colin McDonough and Alex Teft. 5 to go, handshake lap. Like McDonough was going to try and get down, realized the 101 was there. Side draft just a little bit. Andrew Teft jumps up into the high line, but Brian LaPratt has a run on the bottom side as they get neck and neck as they come through the tri-oval, headed to the start-finish line. Who's going to lead this lap? Looks like it was Teft by a nostril. McDonough and Teft's in the high lane. Brian LaPratt, Kirby Wainscott, Nicholas Falsetta on the bottom. Falsetta's multiple laps down, but still can help decide the winner of this race as he has found a way to start pushing here. McDonough looked to the middle, thought better of it, and Andrew Teft went clear down to the bottom to get in front of Brian LaPratt. LaPratt, Teft, and McDonough all battling here. 4 to go, 3 when we get to the line. Alex Teft gets a little side bump there from the 27. of Nicholas Falsetta. Kirby Wainscott pulled out in front of Alex as Alex was trying to get a run to get away from the 27. Just nothing doing at the moment. 3 to go. Andrew Teff leading. McDonough in the middle, and Kirby Wainscott trying to close in on that high side. iRacing here. 6 drivers, all within a half a second of each other. 5 of which are going to be battling for the race win. Side by side, McDonough and LaPratt. Getting a shove there from Kirby Wainscott and Alex Teft. Falsetta gets a little loose there after maybe getting a little bit too close to Brian LaPratt. Lost the draft there a little bit, but slides up to the high side, is able to catch back up. And now we are 3 wide. Kirby Wainscott up on the high side. Done in the middle, and Teft was also there for a moment. 2 laps to go. Headed to the white flag. Andrew Teft going to lead them on down as they head through the tri-oval, headed to the start-finish line. When will LaPratt try and make his move, or will he stay tucked in with Andrew Teft? McDonough goes to the high side. Kirby Wainscott trying to get up there as well to maybe give a push. But here we head down the backstretch for our final time here in the Racers Elite Superspeedway Series at Talladega. Teff, LaPratt, and Wainscott on the bottom. Looks like Alex Teff lost the momentum that he had. Like Kirby Wainscott was thinking about pulling out. McDonough tried to get back behind to get that draft. LaPratt pulls out. Teff blocks. LaPratt hits Wainscott. Wainscott goes almost sideways, able to save it. And here they head down the front stretch. McDonough sideways into Kirby Wainscott, side by side for the line, and it's going to be Andrew Teff winning by half a car length over Brian LaPratt. Carnage back behind him as Wainscott gets hit by Colin McDonough. And that is the race, boys and girls, as they were dynamite crossing the line. Back and take a look here. You see 3 wide here. McDonough gets, just a little bump. Gets bumped from Alex, and that's going to be carnage back behind. As you can see here, nothing you could really do. Good hard racing, little bump here and there, but that is going to be the race win here for Andrew Teft. Andrew Teft's going to close the gap on Chris Blasi as far as the points race here. Tighten up just a little bit. Only really 6 positions on the track. Couple bonus points here and there. Still burning it down. Doing that. Let's see if we can get another driver up here. Hey Alex, Mike up in the booth, man. How's it going?
Not too bad.
Well, that was a heck of a race, kind of back and forth, lots of moves. Basically looked like it kind of came down to a little mistake on pit road, but you guys were able to take advantage and bring home a P3.
Yeah, no, it was a pretty fun race when we had the little pack together like we did for a while. Cars are pretty comfortable to drive, so it was pretty easy to be able to split it 3 wide or go way out to the outside and hold it out there and, make it racy for what it was.
Yeah, you guys had a spot where it was 4 wide for a little corner there or two, and I'm like, man, if these were anything else, I think you guys would have kind of got sucked together. But you guys were able to stay off of each other, make it 4 wide, and make it interesting there. But a couple more races in the Saturday night Superspeedway series. How are you feeling about the racing here tonight?
No. Hopefully, for these next couple races, I don't think I've won a race this season at all. I think I've been in the top 3 quite a few times, but just can't pull it off at the end. Had the run I wanted at the end there, but once Andrew put the block on Colin, then he got all sorts of loose, and I just plowed right into the back of him. I had nowhere to go. So hopefully the sea's clear for me next time, and I can get to the checkered checkered flag.
Yeah, definitely, man. That was a heck of a move. I saw you coming there at the end. Looked like you were kind of setting it up for a few laps because you kept kind of moving to that outside, getting a run, and then going back just a little bit again. But heck of a run. Congrats on P3. Anybody you want to thank before we get you out of here tonight?
Yeah, thank you guys over at Sim Racing Media for putting on these broadcasts all the time. Thank the League Racers Elite. Thank the fans and my friends that watch all the time, and my fiance.
Definitely, man. Well, congrats once again, and maybe we'll talk to you later.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, let's. I don't see Brian in here, so I guess we'll just jump over to the race winner. Andrew, Mike up in the booth, man. How's it going?
Hey, doing pretty good.
Well, you're able to get a race win. You kind of sometimes find yourself in the weirdest places on these super speedways, but you're able to get to the front at the right time and kind of play Pied Piper on the front end. How was the racing out there tonight?
It was a lot of fun. Really respectful. Smaller crowd, of course, but yeah, we still had a lot of fun. I'm surprised it went totally green. Our team executed pretty flawlessly on pit road. We were able to stay together and just stay efficient. And yeah, that shot from Colin there toward the checker, that was huge. I kind of thought it was over. I thought Brian had it, and the way these Gen 4 cars take bumps, I was really surprised by how fast it accelerated and was able to get him.
Yeah, that was a crazy ending there. It looked like you and Brian were gonna battle out for right down to the line, and then you got that shove there from Colin, and then Colin got tapped from Alex a couple times, and kind of just left it to you and Brian. You came out on the right side of it, but I mean, 12 drivers out here, and you guys put on a heck of a show with what you had. So, congrats to you guys.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a drought, so this is nice. But yeah, I heard the RPMs pick way up after you hit me, and I'm like, oh, this might be good. So, but yeah, just want to thank my team and you guys for putting on the show. And if anybody wants to check us out, head on over to racerselite.com. Want to thank my family and our servicemen and women, and thoughts to everybody that's still struggling with the hurricane and the flooding down there in North Carolina and everywhere else. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, definitely, man. Well, congrats once again, and maybe we'll talk to you later in the season.
Yeah, and we'll celebrate.
All right, so that will do it for that. Let's go ahead and bring up the race results. Small field, but a heck of a show. All these guys get 4 wide for quite a while as well. Andrew Teft, Brian LaPratt, Alex Teft are going to be the top 3. We got Colin McDonough, Kirby Wainscott, Chris Blasi, Truth Hoke, Richard Ode had a terrible night. Was running with the leaders most of the night, just lost that lap early. Troy Thomas, Dale Procrop Valaquette back in 10th. Nicholas Falsetta and Patrick Cork are going to round out the field that took part tonight. But with that, we're going to have 2 races left here in the Saturday Night Superspeedway League. They also run it on Friday as they're moving there for Season 2. Make way for some short track racing here on Saturday nights. But that is going to do it here from Talladega. From all the drivers of the Racers Elite Super Speedway Series and all of us here at Sim Racing Media, I want to wish you guys a good night. We'll see you next time.